Hello, everyone. This is Jane Rachel with yet again another story about the dangers of the antibiotics called the fluoroquinolones. They seem to be doing a lot of damage to people all over the world. And I have two best friends here, both named Ellie from Lebanon, who unfortunately both had really bad experiences about Cipro. And they want to help spread the word because I'm still talking to doctors every day who think there's nothing wrong with these medications. So Ellie, would either one of you just jump in and tell me a little bit, like, why did you take the Cipro in the first place?
All right. Actually, in early September, I went to my physician and I asked him. I had some gases and gut issues, and I had problems with my digestive tract. So eventually, when he told me like I want to get you like a treatment or something of that sort, I told him I don't want to do a treatment. Please, can you do a colonoscopy and endoscopy so we can actually see what's
Yep.
going on? And he said yes. So we went through with it, but my problem started with the laxative that she gave me actually. And when she gave me the laxative, I felt like I hated my own gut at that time when I took the laxative before night. So in the morning when I had to go to do the endoscopy and colonoscopy, I told her that I'm feeling not well. I'm irritated and blah blah blah. And she was like, "You'll be fine. Don't worry." So eventually she got the sedative in. I slept and then woke up and told me, you have no issues with your gut. You have like minor ulcerations here or there. So, which is manageable and you
Yep.
can overcome it very easily. I'll give you some corticosteroids and you'll be fine. So she gave me a treatment for a week just because she wants to make sure that I don't have anything or any kind of bacteria in my gut. So she gave me Flagyl and Cipro at the same time for a week. So ever since I started it, like around on the first day, I felt nauseous. I felt like so much irritability at some point. But in the next day in the morning, when I had to take it after breakfast, while I was driving, I could not like my head calibration wasn't right. I couldn't focus. I couldn't drive. I lost my balance. So I had to park on the side of the road, and I felt it was the first time I feel such a thing. Being like I'm an active person. I like sports and all that kind of shit. So sorry for. When I stopped on the side of the road, I just I tried to get out of the car, but I couldn't stand up. So I called my doctor and I told her X, Y, and Z is happening. And she told me, like, it's not the medication, it's just you and all those things. It makes you question yourself at that time. And when I was calling my friends just to get in the car with him so we can go to a place, while I was in the car, I was fainting. While I was in the car, I was like, I didn't know what was happening. And I told him, please get me home. I don't want to be outside the house. I want to do something. I want to get some orange juice or something because this is not normal. And I got home. I ate something at around 8 p.m. The same day. I had spaghetti with meat, and I went to sleep around 10:30. Mind you, this is like the second day after my colonoscopy and endoscopy. So this was like my third pill. After my third Cipro pill, I stopped taking it. So when I went to sleep, I woke up at around 1 a.m. in the morning and just a severe panic attack. Like I could not, I was shocked. I jumped off the bed and my sister was like, she heard me just like trembling and just like shaking, and I don't know I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling. So when my sister saw me like that, let's get you to the emergency room. So we went down to the hospital, and the same.
Have you ever had a panic attack before that? Have you ever felt anything like that before? Never. Okay.
I've never had health issues at all. It's just when I took antibiotics like a decade ago because of my gut when I did a colonoscopy, and I had H. pylori back then, and they gave me 1,500 milligrams of daily dose for 10 days back then. ever since then, my gut wasn't normal anymore. So when I got to the doctor in the hospital and emergency room, and she asked me, and she did an MRI. She did all kinds of tests. And back then, Corona was fresh, and they had to like scan my abdomen, and we ran some tests just so we make sure everything was fine. And we did blood work, we did breath test, we did Corona tests, of course. We did all the tests there in the book, and everything came out normal. And I told her I'm dehydrated. I can feel I'm dehydrated, and she keeps telling me, no, you're fine. Your oxygen levels are fine. And I literally went to the emergency room 5 times in 2 weeks. And
mostly for panic. Like, what were the symptoms? Was it panic attack? Yeah, panic attack.
Panic attack, and mainly, I don't know how can I explain this. It's just like my gut is like cramped in a way, and I'm irritable in a way, so that I cannot explain it to a doctor. It's just unexplainable. I cannot put it in the words because I've never felt like that. So after like a couple of times, I'll go to the doctor and I'll go to the emergency room, all those procedures. She told actually my dad and my sister that he has to see a psychiatrist because he's not right. So eventually I was crazy for this doctor. And when I left the hospital, I wanted to be so angry, but I could not be because I didn't have the power to be angry. I didn't have the will to be angry. And even though I was a active person, I felt like a dead person from the inside. You know, you don't feel your organs, basically. It was very weird. It was like, still I cannot explain it. And eventually I got to when I told my friend I had this issue, basically not Elie, and he didn't have any clue what was going on with me because he wasn't fluxed then, and he didn't know what I was going through. And I could not explain what I'm going through. So eventually one of my friends told me, like, you should check this doctor out. He doesn't use traditional medicine. He uses supplements and all those things without taking actual medication. When I talked to this doctor and I have a brief session with him about what happened with me, he told me, like, we're going to try to clean your body up. And mind you, in those 2 weeks that I was going to the emergency room, she gave me corticosteroids on top of what she already gave me. And I started to have hyperglycemia. I started having, I had tons of things. I used to go full days without eating, and this woman ruined my body, like in no way, shape, or form, and a normal doctor would do to a patient. So eventually, this doctor told me, this doctor you went to, she ruined your body, blah blah blah. He explained to me a couple of things, but it still didn't make sense because I didn't know the antibiotic did that to my body. And I did throughout those days, I had 15-day insomnia, not sleeping just like for an hour. And I could not rest. I didn't know what rest means. And I could not eat. I could not drink. I don't know what happiness means or a smile, let alone. And I lost 25 kilograms in 3 months. I'm 6'1", and I was weighing like literally my weight went to 65 kilograms. I was like I looked like a skeleton basically at one point. And after those basically really long months of like I don't know what to say, just like faded to some in my, I could not walk, I could not work, I could not run. I felt my bones touching it like all the anywhere. I could not tell you like a specific place that I don't know what to say. I just drained from like life or energy.
You had blurry vision.
Yeah, I had like the symptoms that I had blurry vision, eye pain, sensitivity to light. I had insomnia, of course, and
Burning sensations.
The burning sensations. I had difficulty breathing. I had pressure. I had like
The
what
full
else?
menu. The full
Like
menu.
anything you might think of that the Cipro does to your body, I had it, and in such severe way that I could not explain why those things were happening all together. Like I could not connect. And I thought throughout those 3 months, at first, I thought maybe I should do a specific diet. I tried, and no joke, and really no joke, I tried a paleo diet. I tried a keto diet. I've tried every diet in the book. I stopped talking to my friends, my family, my work, everything. And I just focused on my body so I can fix myself. And nothing, no diet in the book made sense. I no joke, stopped sugar. I stopped salt even.
I know. I'm nodding because I did the same thing and none of them worked, you know, and it's like already you're going through a hard enough time. So then to try to do all these diets on top of it, and it didn't help at all. Oh, I'm so sorry you went through this.
I tried for literally a 2.5 months straight eating only baked potatoes, baked zucchini, baked carrots, and lean meats like chicken and tuna, and that's it. I did not eat even sweets. I did not even eat fruits. I stripped my body from a lot of things, and it was so hard on me. But yet I was so keen because I'm like, this is who I am. I wanted to fix myself because I got here, so I can't go back. So eventually, it didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense at all, and I struggled for almost 6 months, 7 months of like severe depression and like mood swings and not talking to anybody. Just don't have the will to even argue with someone. I just didn't care.
When did you realize it was because of the Cipro? Was it the
when Elie told me?
Oh, because not okay.
Yeah, it just you know it happened like in a way when I went to see the doctor and then she gave me a couple of things. And I could not make out that this was the issue of my was my problem. And I could not tell because I was taking a couple of medications. So I could not pinpoint it to at, let's say, Cipro did that. But when Elie was like actually taking it for a specific infection he might have had, and he told me like, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. I was like, okay, but why? And he told me it's because of this medication. And he told me, check what your medication you took. And when I checked the medication that I took, it happens to be the same name, the same brand, and the whole shebang. So, and he was like in awe. I was like, are you serious? You took this? And yeah, and he told me this was the issue. This is your problem. That's why you're feeling this and that. And that all made sense when he told me that, because when I told the doctor that this is the issue, she denied and she doesn't care actually. She prescribes it for the past 30 years, so she doesn't care about it.
That's exactly what the doctors hear. Before we move to Elie number 2 story, I know you're doing better now. So how long did it take till you start to feel better? And do you think it was just time, or was it anything that you did to get better?
Look, the only thing I can tell you is there's no medication will help you. And I can tell you, because I know what I went through, and I know how now, after tons of research and reading, and reading too much doesn't get you anywhere. Knowing too much is very bad. That helps, like the health anxiety you will have. This is not worth it at all. So what I personally did is I still take PPIs. Just for the sake of my gut, because I know she ruined my gut. I wanna restore it.
Just so the audience knows, PPIs, is that like we call them like Nexium or like
exactly.
Like acid reflux type stuff? Okay.
Exactly. I took those. I'm taking those. I don't need to take those, but I'm taking those just for the measurement that I want to heal my body. So I try to eat as much as I like a variety of food that I can eat. I eat everything now, but I try to stay away from spicy foods and like those really hard on your gut. So, and when I saw a psychiatrist, my friend, he knows the psychiatrist, he told me you should see this guy, he's really good. And when I talked to the psychiatrist, I told him, this is my issue. And I've like searched like all of Lebanon and saw tons of doctors, and they all like they're all gonna treat me like in a trial and error manner. So they don't know what's wrong. So they don't know how to fix you. So, and I was like, I understood that being a doctor or like going to a doctor doesn't help. You're just gonna be any normal guinea pig in the hospital. So, and he told me, look, if you have a problem with diarrhea most of the time, this is what I suffered from, basically diarrhea. And he told me, I'm going to give you this medication. They're antidepressants, basically. And he gave me SSRIs, and I'll tell you what name it is. But he gave me two, actually. He gave me one that I should take in the morning and the evening, and one that I should take in the evening. And I told him, doctor, but I can't sleep and I'm restless. This is me in nature, but now it's like super intense. And he told me, and I told him, how will this help? Because I've tried taking antidepressants, they don't help. And he told me, look, this medication, you have to keep taking it for a while for it to actually does its job. You can't just take it now and expect like in 3 or 4 days you feel normal. So you have to take your time with it. And I told him, but how would it fix me? And he told me this medication releases certain types of hormones in your brain so your body can function properly, because your body is in a shock, or basically your digestive tract is in a shock. It doesn't absorb all the nutrients that's coming in your mouth. So I was like, okay. And he told me like the diarrhea would stop after like 2 weeks. And he guaranteed me that it would stop. And he was the actual only doctor that I was like, I'm gonna get this guy a chance. I'm gonna know what is he up to, or like the medication will work or not. So he told me that
was he a psychiatrist? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He was a psychiatrist.
And the medication he gave me, one is called Ceroxat, 20 milligrams, and one is called Remeron, 30 milligrams. And he told me the Ceroxat is your main medication, and the Remeron is basically what pushes Ceroxat to work. So he told me, but before I go outside his clinic, he called me and he told me like, look, I want you to not research anything anymore, and not to read about your health anxiety will explode, and just don't stop certain foods. If all the tests came out normal, you can eat everything. You don't have, even I literally did they drew 3 tubes of blood from me. So just so the amount of tests we did, like gluten tests, about anything. I did every test in the book and nothing came positive. And so he told me, since you don't have any issues with any type of food, and you can eat any food since you were young, just go out and eat everything. Don't stop sugar or that or this. Just eat. Your body needs everything. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with it. So I went home, and for a straight week, I ate everything that I didn't eat for the past 6 months, which was hell on earth. And I ate everything that I could get my hands on. I love beans and like lentils and all those foods. I like eating whole food. And I ate everything that I could. And lo and behold, after 2 weeks, the diarrhea stopped. And slowly, like I noticed like everything was going, and I understood that it's not just the medication that's doing the job. It's just not worrying as well. It does, like it boosts your anxiety with not eating this or that and worrying about certain types of food, which you don't have a problem with, but it's just worry about.
That's so, that's what I feel so strongly about this, is because I found a lot, I'm sure you did too, of those websites for Floxies. And on one hand, they made me feel better that I wasn't alone. But I also feel like there's so much like, they don't believe in any medication. Whereas like, yes, Cipro and Levaquin, those are bad, but other medications can help. And they're throwing out all these different diets, and like, I think they can make people worse. Like some of it works for some people, and so I think that they're just insistence on all medication is bad and it's all diet can make it worse.
You not taking any medication is just I think it's bad for you, because in the long run, whenever we were born and we were raised in a way that we can eat everything and we can enjoy food. I'm not saying you have to eat or drink Pepsi all day, but I'm just in a manner that you can try to eat every type of food you have or you can get your hands on, and try to consume a variety of foods or whole foods or vegetables or wherever it is. But don't say like, I will not eat this or that. Don't strip any type of diet from your body, or strip it, because your body is used to everything. You can't just stop something and you will shock your body to a point that it will not recover properly. So whenever people get fluxed, they start to think that it's the food, but it's your body in a shock. It's not going to digest anything at first, you know. So I think for a recovery, let's say I'm going to give advice to someone that's fluxed after me. The advice I can give, just I know nothing will make sense, but only time will fix it. And we can't look for a solution. There is no solution for it. There's no pill that you can take that will heal you on the spot. So it's just, you have to, yes, you eat healthy, yes, but not to an extreme extent. So eat everything, watch out, just stay away from alcohol and all those things that will dehydrate you, basically. And you will get better day by day, month by month. But the main as well, the thing that helped me is just, I was just trying to, like, I don't know how to say this. I try to bury myself with work just to get my mind off of what I went through. Like anything that gets me busy, anything, I don't care what it is. If it's time consuming, but not something that I do while I'm sitting. I have to be working with my own hands, physical, active. When I was physically active, I almost forgot, or like it gets your mind off it, you know, to a certain extent. So it lets your body heal. Your subconscious mind will always be stressed. That's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think you said a really important point is that I do think people get better in time. So what happens is everybody tries these different things and they're like, oh, I did this diet and it worked, or, oh, I did these stem cells and it worked. Well, it's because it would have worked anyway, right? In time. And not saying that those, like they would have worked. I'm not saying those things are bad for everyone, but different things work for different people. And the website's saying that everybody's got to, you know, eat this or not eat this. I think it makes us all worse. So I think I actually want to do this in two parts. So I want to finish with Elie 1 and then we'll stop and do Elie 2. But just overall, how long did it take for the psychological symptoms to go away, would you say?
Psychological symptoms, I think, to be honest, psychological symptoms are like, because I'm a technician, I'm an electronic technician, so I can pinpoint things when I see issues with, like, connected to other issues. But the psychological thing is, I don't think I fully recovered from it, but I know that, like, the first month was hell. After the second or 3 months after were like just a tad bit better. But after I started Seroxat, I began to sleep because I wasn't sleeping properly. I began to sleep, and I'm not joking. I slept for 8 or 9 hours daily for a month. That actually helped.
That's great.
That I was, that I knew back at that time that I was recovering, that I was on the right track. I understood that I'm getting my body some rest. And the psychological, I don't think you recover from it. I just think that you become wiser. It's just not you become happier. No, you're just happy, but you don't want to be happy because you think that you have issues, but you don't have issues. It's just a medication that just you have an allergic reaction to it that's just very hard on your system. And I still think it's the medication that dehydrates you to an extent that it gets to a chemical imbalance, you know. And it's just, it will make time. It will be better through time. It's just, there's no other way.
Yeah, I think that, you know, before we switch to Elie number 2, I think the two, you know, messages I'm getting through your story is, A, try not to take this in the first place, right? And especially you mentioned that you were taking the fluoroquinolones and steroids at the same time. And I think that makes it even more likely. But then if it does happen to you, it is awful and it is miserable, but you will get better in time, right? Like, and stay away from...
Nothing will make sense and it will get better. But
And it will get better. And honestly, stay off these websites that just talk about being, they tell stories of people being sick forever. Like, you don't know what's wrong with those, right? You don't know what's wrong with those people to begin with. They're not you. And stay off of those. Instead, I think there's one. Yeah, there's one called Floxy Hope, which only talks about recovery stories. I think that one's pretty good because everyone gets better. But the other ones, I think, just scare you. And you are evidence that you do get better. How long would you say? How long has it been? A year? How long before you started getting
14,
better?
December
14,
like a year and a month.
A year and a month.
A year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months.
15, 16 months. Yeah. But still, again, there's no timeline. It's just I personally think that a lot of people would only focus on themselves without looking at other people. Everybody is different. Maybe the same person that took the same treatment that I took and had my problems would recover in 6 months, maybe in 3 years, maybe he recovers in a week. Everybody is different. So that's why I don't like to read on other people's problems, because everybody has an issue. And everybody, when they have an issue with their health issue, basically, they recover differently, or they react differently to another medication. Maybe I took Serixat that helped me. Maybe other people, like a lot of people took Lexotanil and benzos, they feel better. But for me, I've always never had, I don't feel them. When I take them, I don't actually feel like taking anything.
But also about your story too, is you did go to it, like a doctor was able to help you. Because that's the first thing I read about. The first thing I saw on the internet was like, don't bother going to a doctor. They're not going to believe you and they're not going to be able to help you. And while that is true for many of them, you still, if you're having the mental health problems, a psychiatrist can help. I do believe, it sets off certain autoimmune diseases. So certain I think they make it seem on these websites that we all have the same thing, right? Whereas I don't believe that, right? Some people, I actually do think it sets off autoimmune diseases. Some people, I think it does cause a vitamin deficiency. Some people cause mental health symptoms. And you should at least try to go to a doctor, right? Because maybe you might have to go to several doctors before you find the one that can help you. But in your case, the doctor helped, right?
The doctor, the psychiatrist that helped me, he actually looked at me and told me, in your right mind came to my office and asked me for my help. I told him, yes, I have an issue. And I told him I have a gut issue. So because he's a psychiatrist, he had to make sure like I was on the right track with him. So he understands that with my fully functional brain, I came to him for help because I have an actual health issue. And he told me, yes, people might not understand why you go to a psychiatrist for your gut, but it will make sense in time. So I understood, it's just part of recovery because it's all interrelated, and with vitamin deficiencies, of course, and a lot of things, they all interconnected, but it all starts in your brain. So you have to rest, you have to give it some time, you have to just go out and just talk to people and enjoy life. And even though you're not smiling or you can't smile, just go through the day, and lo and behold, like a week or a month later, you will feel better. Like, don't measure how you're feeling right now. Just compare yourself to the week before, or like the month before. So this is the only way you can measure how better you're going, or how you're bettering you're feeling.
So thank you so much. I'm going to pause for a second, and then we're going to go back to Elie number 2. But I really think your story is inspiring because it tells people that they will get better. But also, if you haven't taken these fluoroquinolones in the first place, if you can avoid it, don't take it. You don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here, and we'll continue with part 2.